Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In today's video I will discuss who benefits or who could benefit from the explosions or the sabotage or the attacks on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 gas pipelines. I will discuss a scenario. I'm not going to claim that's the way things are. I discussed about Russia being part of it. I discussed about some other actors that could have been involved, and today it's the turn of United States to be discussed in the context of the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 sabotage. Why would United States benefit out of it? Aside from the fact that the United States was the only country on this planet that said one time by the President of the United States, and then the other, Joe Biden, and the other time by one high official in the Secretary of State. Her name is Victoria Nuland. She's a Zelensky, by the way. She was very much involved in the illegal overthrow of the president of Ukraine and the government in 2014. And why would they said that Nord Stream 2 will not start, and one way or another that would be stopped. Germany and Russia will not go ahead with Nord Stream and that. So they said they will destroy it. That was not the word destroy, but they will not, Nord Stream 2 will not be functional one way or another. Well, you say, okay, but still, why? What's the problem? Well, United States wanted the market, the European market. That's one thing. The other one, they don't want competition. It's natural gas, liquefied natural gas, doesn't want a competition. Then the Russians are the enemies, so you have to weaken the enemies as much as you can. And now in the context of Ukraine, this is a pipeline or two pipelines that potentially, if Europe gets in trouble economically, which it gets there, winter comes, they could say, Russia, there were some voices in Germany, for instance, Russia, we want it open, the Nord Stream 2, we want the pipeline open. Turn it on. And it could have turned on. But this way, someone made sure that will never be turned on. Who could that be? In this scenario, I think it could be United States. Now, there were also some voices in the European Union that started being louder and louder that they would not want to continue this support for Ukraine. And I'm talking about Hungary as one of them. And then there are some other states like Czech Republic and Slovakia, because economic hardship starts biting where they don't want to be beaten. There are people in the street in Czech Republic, again, after a month, they are back in the street. The government of Slovakia just said yesterday that they are about to go bellied up. They are talking about nationalizing the energy industry over there. And if you have so much discontent and not unity, some things might happen, including the fact that in the United States of America, the support for a continuation to support Ukraine decreased, according to a poll 2 days ago. Now, let me read you a little bit of excerpts of two articles, and then we're going to talk what's going on. The Hill, this comes from The Hill from the September 29th, 2022. NATO warns of united and determined response amid pipeline damage investigation. They already know that it can be one of them. They already determined that. So it must be who? Russia. So this is a good example of we're gonna get from wherever we started scattering, we're gonna be back together, because now we have again one enemy that threatens us. No more Ukraine, but us. So now NATO is vowing to make a determined... Who's NATO? United States, not NATO. All of them came in the same time in a room and said, hey, we're going to do it. Yeah, they spoke in the same time, all 27 or how many they are, right? No, it was one country who said, we're going to do it like this. Yeah, wake up. Yeah, okay, I want to make sure you don't sleep again. That's how it went, literally. NATO is vowing to make a determined response to any international attack on the Nord Stream energy pipelines spanning from Russia to Europe. Any deliberate attack against allies' critical infrastructure will be met with a united and determined response. The North Atlantic Council, the main political body of NATO, warned in a statement. So who do you think... What if they find out it was United States? What do you think will happen? I tell you, nothing. So that's one thing. And the other one is the poll that I want to read to you. From Business Insider, new poll signals Americans are growing tired of support for Ukraine without diplomacy as the war against Russia drags on. So according to a poll conducted by the Quincy Institute of Responsible Statecraft and Data for Progress, 57% of likely voters strongly or somewhat support the US pursuing diplomatic negotiations. Strongly and somewhat is not really the same thing. Strongly like yeah, and somewhat So okay, they put 57, right? And they said just 32% of respondents were strongly or somewhat opposed to this. Kind of strange. So these were the polls. So the population doesn't support you much. In Europe, the population doesn't support. Countries start talking loudly, so what do? You unite them. How do you unite them? I'm going to show you. I'm going to reach over there and I'm going to grab a book. And that book comes from a left-leaning person, okay? And he's going to tell us, it was a book that I can't remember exactly, 10 years ago I bought it. So it's called... Come to me, baby doll. All right. So it's called Crimes Against Nature by Robert Kennedy, right? He talks about big business and coal industry and all that, and the mass media how covers for this and that. So I bought this book in 3rd of September 2004. 3rd of September 2004. I'm going to put this over. There you go. 3rd of September in Romanian, obviously. 3 September 2004. And I'm going to read to you at the end, right, I think the last page. It's a paragraph. And here, I underline, I put this here because I always put signs where I have important stuff. I underline or I put on the side notes on everything I read that I think is interesting. And this is what this paragraph relates to the unity that NATO talks about right now. And I'm quoting, it is always a simple matter to drag the people along, or countries along. Note that Hitler's sidekick Hermann Göring, and I'm quoting again, whether it is a democracy or a fascist dictatorship, or a parliament or a communist dictatorship, voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. That is easy. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked and denounce the peacemakers for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same in any country. Okay. All right. That for me was very interesting then and still right now. So maybe this could be the country I mentioned that I'm going to discuss about, a possibility, a way for a country to bring everybody back together, bring them over here and point to that enemy right there. That's why we're together, I told you. But they're going to destroy that country, or they're going to destroy everything. Because they're not going to be able to destroy it unless they destroy Putin and destroy Putin's government And that will not happen unless it's going to be an inside job. And if they attack them, they will attack them, and everything is done. But one day these guys, I guarantee you, if it's this guy who did this on the pipelines, these guys will find out. And we will find out when we're going to be about 85, if we live to that age. Our children will read about this, and everything is over by that time. The perpetrators still praised in the history books. They're going to talk about them. They're going to have statues and so on. And the little that you know, this information will come one day and the next day will disappear. If the same guys, same weasels are in power. If other people come in power that will tell the truth, that will stay longer. And this legacy of this kind of leaders we have right now will be just exposed for what it is. It's called criminality. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.